John Wesley, founder of the Methodist Church, famously said, "Give me 100 preachers who fear nothing but sin and desire nothing but God, and I care not a straw whether they are clergymen or laymen. Such alone will shake the gates of hell and set up the kingdom of heaven on earth." The person who was most influential in his life was his mother, Susanna Wesley. Susanna was not an educated woman, but was a person of deep piety and godliness. Once, when she was asked how to judge an unlawful pleasure, she answered, "Whatever weakens your reason, impairs the tenderness of your conscience, obscures your sense of God, takes away your relish for spiritual things, whatever increases the authority of the body over the mind, that thing is sin to you, however innocent it may seem in itself." Few theologians could have matched her definition of sin with such erudition. The influence of a mother on a person's life cannot be underestimated. The poet William Ross Wallace said, "The hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world." In 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2, we learn of a mother named Hannah, whose hands rocked the cradle of a baby boy, Samuel, who went on to become Israel's first prophet, priest, and judge. The Bible profiles her as a mother who lent her son to the Lord. From her biography, we learn 5 salient characteristics of a godly mother. First, a godly mother is known for her prayerfulness. The Bible says that Hannah prayed to the Lord for a son. She prayed continually and never gave up. Though her lips moved, her voice was not heard, for she spoke in her heart. But God heard her voice loudly and clearly. Another such godly mother was Susanna Wesley. Often she would pull her long apron over her head to form a tent. It was her tent of meeting with God, and she would spend hours praying for her husband and children. Much of John Wesley's success as a preacher was attributed to the prayers of his mother. Second, a godly mother is known for her tearfulness. Hannah wept before God in anguish. She poured out her soul before him with tears. Shedding tears for divine intervention is like sowing seeds to ensure a good harvest. The Bible says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." Psalms 126:5. Jesus offered prayers and supplications with vehement cries and tears. Hebrews 5:7. From the cross, Jesus said to the women who were weeping for him, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children." Luke 23:28. There is no greater gift for a son or a daughter than to have a mother who sows for her children with tears. I was blessed to have the gift of such a mother myself. Third, a godly mother is known for her faithfulness. Hannah was faithful in the sense that she trusted God to provide her with a son. She raised her empty hands of faith toward God for a child. Hannah made a vow to the Lord that if he would bless her with a son, she would lend him to the Lord for the rest of his life. And she kept her vow. I was blessed to have a godly grandmother whose husband died when she was pregnant with my father. After my father, her only child, was born, She dedicated him to the Lord's work. She remained unmarried for the rest of her life, more than 60 years, and faithfully served the Lord until he took her home. I thank the Lord for her life and the influence it had on me. A godly mother is known for her faithfulness. Fourth, a godly mother is known for her worshipfulness. When Eli, the priest, assured Hannah that the Lord would grant her petition, she got up, ate, and was no longer sad. The next morning, she worshiped the Lord and returned to her home. After Samuel was born, she nursed him, and when she had weaned him, she took him to the house of God at Shiloh and worshiped the Lord. She offered the required animal sacrifice to the Lord. But more importantly, she worshiped God by dedicating her most precious possession, her son, to the Lord. John Stott wrote, "Worship is a response to divine revelation." Hannah learned that God was able to open her womb and bless her with a child. In response to the revelation of God's goodness and greatness, she worshiped God. A godly mother is known for her worshipfulness. Fifth, a godly mother is known for her joyfulness. Hannah said, "My heart rejoices in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. I smile at my enemies because I rejoice in your salvation." It is interesting to note that Hannah's story begins with her weeping and ends with her rejoicing. The Bible says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Psalms 35. The Lord turned Hannah's weeping into dancing. A godly mother is marked by joy in the Lord, even when the going gets tough, because it is rooted in God. The Bible teaches that Hannah's son Samuel prefigured Jesus Christ, the greatest prophet, priest, and judge of them all. He supremely modeled for us a life of prayerfulness, tearfulness, faithfulness, worshipfulness, joyfulness. And I pray that on this Mother's Day, every mother hearing my voice will turn to Christ, who alone can empower her to possess these spiritual virtues and to model them before her children. God bless you, and have a blessed Mother's Day.